welcome to this video. Today's video is going to be a psychology video, not the Psychology Wednesday video, but about studying psychology. I thought I would do a video kind of reflecting on the 3 years that I've had at university of studying psychology, kind of talk about what it's like to be a psychology student and what you might kind of expect if you choose to study psychology. Also, bear in mind that I will be talking about kind of my personal experience, and everyone is different, so you're probably going to have a different experience to me. I'm going to try and relate kind of more to psychology, also a little bit reflecting about the 3 years, just so that I can reflect on that here, because I have been documenting the 3 years, wow, and kind of summarize the 3 years that I've had. I'm doing a master's course, which means I have 2 more years to go, and those 2 years are going to be focused on what I've chosen to study, which is clinical child psychology. Yay, exciting. So the 3 years I've had have kind of just been general psychology, like you would do a bachelor's degree. In a master's, you would specialize, and that is what I'm doing. When I graduate, I'm not going to be a child psychologist. I will be a psychologist, I hope. In general, what you can expect in psychology is a lot of things. I think I will start off by talking about it year by year and how each year was different and what I had, and then kind of talk generally about it. Okay, so we have first year of psychology, and if you watched any of my videos from that time, you probably know what I'm going to say. I was very excited for university and for studying psychology. I loved psychology at A-level so much, and I still miss it so much, but I was kind of disappointed with university in general. I just had all these expectations. I was excited to finally be learning something that I love, and I feel like throughout the 3 years I haven't felt like I love studying the subject. There have been moments where I felt that, but not throughout the whole 3 years. In the first year, there was a big focus kind of on topics that are to do with the introduction of psychology and more kind of vague topics like genetics and physiology, philosophy and logic, subjects that I was like, what is this? This is not psychology. There wasn't a lot of psychology at all in the first year. It was a bit discouraging having genetics and physiology when I failed A-level biology, so I was retaking them. And it was like, oh really, we meet again. And the journey that I had with that was also not good. I failed a lot of the tests, and when I think of first year, I think of that. The only psychology that I feel like I had was introduction to psychology, social psychology, and stress. I loved stress psychology. There was a lot in that I could take away just for my own knowledge, and I love that. I like those kind of lectures where you can learn something not just because you need to pass an exam, but because it can benefit you, and I just love that so much. And I feel like I haven't had much of that in general at uni, so that was one subject that I really enjoyed. I also had boring classes like IT and academic skills, but it's good that they were at the beginning because you get them out the way and then you get them more exciting later on. I just wish there was more psychology, or like classes that weren't so focused on exams. I also had cognitive psychology. This was in the second half of the year. So like a lot of the subjects, they are so fascinating and interesting, but the way they were taught, I didn't enjoy them, and that has taught me a lesson that you won't learn everything. There are so many things to do with emotions, for example, that I still don't know. I was going through a lot of things that year, adjusting to a new place, a new university, trying to be a student and getting good grades and trying to be social. When I think of that time, I think of sadness, and a lot of it was me being sad and missing home. And yeah, I wouldn't want to go back to that year and redo it because it was not a good time. Sometimes I think, how did I get through it? But here we are. So, and that's sweet because I do remember being in first year and thinking, oh, I wonder what third year Anna will be like. That's kind of first year of psychology. Not a lot of psychology, a lot of sadness for me personally. I also feel like I should mention the amount of teaching hours I've had each year and each semester. So in the first semester I had 300 hours, which is a lot. That was the most intense timetable, and then the second semester was 290 hours, which again was a lot. So first year was a lot, and then we have second year of psychology, and I felt more settled and more calm with certain things in my life. I went back to England, so I kind of felt like, I don't know, that helped a lot. And yeah, so I started this winter semester and I felt normal. Honestly, looking back, that was the most normal semester I've ever had. It just felt like some of the things I was sad about, I was slowly moving on from, and I was feeling better mentally. I wasn't as sad. I was trying to talk to people, so I'm thankful that at least I got some of that kind of normal for me uni kind of life. In the second year there was a lot more psychology, so I was really excited for those kind of more psychological topics. For example, developmental psychology. I'm interested in child psychology, so I was very excited for this, that there were more kind of topics that are kind of more specific. People who are interested in specific areas of psychology, they can finally learn about those, so that was great. I also had emotions and motivation, which looking back is a really interesting topic. I just didn't like some of the lectures. It all depends, like the topics could be so fascinating, but if they're taught in a way that is boring and draining and it's just really historic textbooks, then it's not fun. And I also had ethics, which I didn't think I would like, and honestly it's a bit of a boring subject, but the professor teaching was so sweet. The way her lectures, I don't know, there was just something so engaging with them, and I just enjoyed. So I never thought I would enjoy ethics of the profession of a psychologist, but I did, and that was really surprising. And that just shows, if you have a professor who is really good at their job at teaching, then it can make a big difference, which reminds me of A-level psychology and my amazing A-level psychology teacher, and then it reminds me of the other psychology teacher I had, which wasn't the best. So the kind of teaching you get also plays a big role on how well you do and if you enjoy the subject or not, which is a shame because there are really fascinating topics that people may not like just because of the way it's taught. I also had the dreaded methodology. I knew this was going to happen. You can't have the good without the bad. This was honestly terrible, but again, the person teaching was so sweet, and I've had her this year for stats, so that made it more bearable. Honestly, you can get through it. You can get through stats. And methodology, it seems like a very tall mountain to climb, but it's achievable. You just have to be prepared for that. Know that you are going to have subjects that you may not like, that will be difficult, but if psychology is truly what you want to study, then it's a challenge you have to overcome. And in that semester I had 255 hours of teaching, so a big difference to first year. And then we had the second semester of second year, and this was the most abnormal semester I've ever had. We all know the reason for that. Online learning was a big shock to a lot of people. It just seemed strange to me because the first semester seemed so normal, and then the second was the most abnormal. And here I had again stats methodology. I had a stats lab. It's not the same as being in a lab and actually like asking for help. I also had developmental psychology, a bit in more detail, and individual differences. Now I loved individual differences, although that and personality kind of seemed the same to me. In terms of adapting to online learning, I think I did that quite well. It wasn't like a big shock to me because I did enjoy like independent study at sixth form and studying at home, and my life didn't even change that much, so it definitely helped with the anxiety. I don't know if it will make it worse, but we don't think about that for now. I feel bad for saying this, but it felt like a break. But I know that there were difficult moments within that, so I can't say it was great because it kind of just got worse, to be honest. I can't even say which one of the two is the most memorable for me because the first year was the start of uni and the second year was strange, so I can't say which one was the strangest and which one stood out the most to me. In that semester I only had 240 hours, so very similar to the first semester, and definitely second year was less teaching hours than first year, but it was also more psychology finally. And then we have third year, which honestly it just seems so blurry in my head. First and second year are so visible, but third year is just so blurry. Like if I think of it, I just think of my room and I have to think of specific topics and subjects that I had to bring back the memories. But in general, third year was definitely the most kind of maybe interesting year that I've had in terms of the education and the content, because there was some really interesting lectures like neuropsychology. I'm really grateful that my uni did neuropsychology, because not every university does that subject. Same as criminal psychology. I wish my university did that, but they didn't. I also had psychopathology, which I've been waiting 3 years for this. One of my favourite subjects in A-level psychology, so I was very happy to be learning about that again. Also research projects. That was not good. I don't have good memories of that, but I've talked about this already. I kind of talked about third year already, so I won't really go into too much detail, but it was definitely the most kind of interesting when it comes to learning and the subjects that I've had, and also the amount of hours I had this semester. This semester, the summer semester, was 195, which is a big difference, a huge difference to first year. So the workload, because the workload was a lot. The contact hours, the teaching hours definitely decreased, and the kind of interesting subjects increased. A bit about exams, and because that is a huge part of my university journey, and here in Poland where I study, there is a big focus on grades, I feel like, and on content and on exams, because every single semester, every subject I've had basically ended in an exam or a test. That is a big thing that I wasn't prepared for as well. So again, your experience of studying psychology may be completely different. You may not have any exams, which I'm so jealous of, because here exams are I have so much to say about the Polish education system. I feel like I've noticed a lot of things that I don't like comparing it to the English education system. So when it comes to exams, I, in the first year, struggled a lot with this. I said to myself, I'm going to get good grades, and I had high hopes. Like, I'm going to make university about my education, so I might as well just get the best grades. I might just dedicate my time into my grades because I care about my grades. After doing well in A-level psychology, I thought, this is what I'm good at. It should be easy to get good grades at university. I was very wrong, and I think that expectation also affected me and the way I dealt with the disappointment. So just don't have any expectations for anything in life. That's my advice, and don't think too much about things as well. Expected the best from myself when it came to my exams, and when I saw a fail, I can still remember vividly the moment I found out I failed an exam. The fact that I vividly remember these moments is just upsetting to me. Because I cared so much, and it was so hard for me to deal with failure, and I felt like I was letting myself down, and like I wasn't a good student. Like, I'm putting so much time into my studies and I'm not seeing the results. So that was really discouraging. So I dealt a lot with that, but I feel like I'm maybe slowly kind of desensitized myself to the intense emotions of failure. So in my first year of university, I failed 4 exams in total. These are exams. I know I failed a test, and my retake didn't go well as well, so that was also not a good day, and I remember it vividly. Failed 4 exams, 2 exams in the first semester and 2 in the second. And then in the second year, I failed 1 exam, methodology, in the first semester, and then I failed an exam or a test. I don't remember. It just seems so blurry now. I think I failed a test in the second semester of second year, and then this year I only failed 1 thing. I feel is an improvement from the other 2 years. Honestly, sometimes it just seems like it's luck when it comes to exams, and I just felt like it was a loop. Like, I tried, but then I was disappointed again. Like, I just guessed. If I didn't know something, I just guessed. There have been so many moments where I had a retake and I just thought it's a miracle that I passed this, especially with genetics. Honestly, that was something. And yeah, and I had 2 moments where I had a retake and I failed the retake, but I still got a pass from the person teaching, which so grateful for people like that. So yeah, I'm talking about this because it's a big part of my 3-year experience. I can't talk about university without talking about that. Also, when it comes to grades, the point system here is 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5 and 5. In my first year when I looked at the ranking, because there's a ranking, and I saw that I'm like right at the end, my heart just sunk. I was like, I can't compete with these people. Obviously I'm not that smart, it's fine, grades aren't everything. But my average for my first year was a 3.8. My average for second year was a 4.2, and my average for third year was a 3.8. Those are my grades, basically a summary. It's shown me that grades aren't that important. Well, I hope they're not. I hope no one looks at these when I look for a job as a psychologist one day. If I could like say what my favourite year was, I think I would say second year. Honestly, none of them. But if I could say, I think I would say second year, because it felt normal and online learning was just starting. And as like online learning has progressed and as I've spent more time in this room, in this place I'm in right now, it has been more difficult dealing with certain things, and certain personal things have come up that were kind of there in my first year. I had too much going on to notice them, think too much about them. I knew they were a problem. I didn't think I would be here this long, and living where I am affected me a lot over the past year. It has been really difficult mentally dealing with certain things this past year that I wasn't really dealing with my first year. With online learning, the first semester was okay. I didn't see certain problems, like I knew they were there. I can't explain. And I feel like online learning has made it worse because of the physical environment that I'm in. Like when I was going to university and I wasn't home most of the time, it felt okay, kind of. Like I didn't deal with it as much, but it's become worse since I spent more time here, and it's gotten to the point where I don't have the energy to deal with it anymore. This whole experience, I feel like, hasn't felt normal to me. I still don't feel normal living here, and I feel like that my environment makes it worse. I never thought that the way that things are right now would be like this, so it's kind of affecting everything else. Everything's a learning experience, and I believe something good will come out of these things. I just honestly wish that I could say that I feel like a normal student, but I don't. And I wish I could say that the 3 years I've been here feel normal and I'm so happy with my choice. I don't know. Time will tell if I made the right choice. I know studying psychology, I feel like that's the right choice for me. I, of course, have other interests. I want to be a psychologist, so I feel like there was no question about that. We go through different phases in life, and maybe this is just the phase that I'm meant to be going through. Did I expect the 3 years to go the way they have? No. That's the answer. Do I recommend psychology? I would say I do, but honestly, it's your own choice. I would recommend it to a lot of people, but I know it's not for everyone. At times I even thought, is this for me? Just because of all the other subjects. Like, you could be interested in a subject like psychology, but it might not be what like you're meant to pursue. A lot of things happen in life, and sometimes people don't accomplish the things that they want to, not because of they can't, like because of certain things that are out of their control, which breaks my heart. Summary is, I recommend psychology. Is what I expected, and mostly it isn't. Nothing wrong with the subject itself. It's more with everything else. It's definitely different to A-levels, so if you're thinking it's going to be just like A-levels, it probably won't be. A-level psychology was the best. Honestly, I recommend that to everyone. But studying at university, I don't recommend to everyone because it's not made for everyone. Thank you for watching this video. Honestly, I feel like most of it is just me rambling, and I apologise if you don't like any of those videos. If you don't want me to make any more of these, let me know. But if you do want me to make more of these videos, then also let me know. And if you have any questions about psychology, things I haven't covered in this video, because I've been talking for a long time and I don't even know if I said anything valuable. This was just a video to summarise the 3 years, and I'm just hoping the next 2 will be better, but no expectations. None. I have one. I'm really hoping it comes true, because I can't imagine the next 2 years if it doesn't. Anyway, that's all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me if you have for 3 years or more. I don't even know how long I've been on here. Thank you so much. that people watch my videos, that people hear me ramble for who knows how long. So thank you. I'll see you in my next video.